What is up, guys? Now, today I want to talk about my favorite newest device I've bought, which is the Galaxy Tab S8 Ultra. I've been using it for about a month now, and I have a few thoughts I want to share. So first of all, about the design. Now, not much has changed, especially for the S8 and the S8 Plus. There's actually no difference between the S7 and the S8. However, the Ultra is a completely new option, which we'll get a bit more into. Alright, so let's talk a little bit about the display. So this is a gorgeous 14.6 inch display diagonally. It is 120 Hz or 60 Hz. You can adjust that in settings. Unfortunately, there is no adaptable setting, so it's one or the other. And then it also has a resolution of 2560 by 1600, which is great for watching, for doing any productivity tasks or watching content as well. Now, this is a Super AMOLED display, which is very helpful with the notch. Now, as you can see in Google, you don't really notice it as much as there is the black bar for status indicators and notifications. However, if we go, for example, to Amazon, here it is a bit more noticeable. Now, it's not really affecting you, as once again, it's just a blank line for status indications and notifications. But it is a little bit annoying once you first get the device and you start getting used to it. Now, as I mentioned, as it's a Super AMOLED display with 500 nits of brightness, it is very nice to watch content on. And what's great about it being AMOLED is that when you're watching the content, as most of the content is framed in 16:9, you will almost never see the notch when you're watching content, and the pixels in the top and bottom black bars, they are completely off. So you do not notice the notch, and you have you have almost the whole screen to enjoy for content, which makes this pretty much the best viewing device I have currently, which is what I've done most with this device. Just watch different TV shows, movies, animes, etc. As well as the notch you also forget about, because once you're used to having hole punch displays for quite some time now, it's quite easy to forget that it's there. Now, the one reason I can also forgive Samsung for the notch is that they gave us some extremely good cameras up there, and they're placed in ideal positioning for Zoom calls and so on and so forth, as you'll usually want to use the device in landscape mode. They are 4K cameras, one wide and one ultra wide, and let me tell you that these are really good cameras. They are indeed the best front-facing cameras I've ever had, and they have completely replaced my external webcam that I've been using. Now, next up, I wanted to talk about the S Pen, which thank goodness is included, cough cough, Apple. And so this S Pen is great, and what I was mentioning in the Galaxy S22 Ultra review is that in the phone it's more of a commodity. Here it is so much more useful, as you have a much larger canvas to either draw on or sign, and it is a great navigational tool as well. Now, I highly appreciate having it here, as I've taken all my notes from college on the S6, which was 2 generations older than this one. And thanks to the pen and the great experience that Samsung gives with the pen, I was able to take all my notes there without using a single paper notebook. The S Pen also has the Air Actions, which is not often, I don't use it all that often, but if you need to just leave your tablet on the table and you want to lay down for a bit, you can just take the pen and hit play and pause on either videos or music that you're listening to. And, well, it's a convenient thing to have, that's for sure. Now, next up, I want to talk about the battery. The tablet has an 11,200 milliamp hour battery. With that insane amount of battery, it's sure to get you through a work day and even through some of the rest of the day watching content. If you use it lightly, you can get it up to 2 days of use. Me personally, it lasts me the 10 hours which I will usually be watching content on, and it's been great. I love it, and it's a perfect battery for this device, which at this point will be replacing my laptop. Now, I want to talk about a few other things on the tablet. I highly appreciate the fingerprint sensor. It's very nicely placed, it's fairly quick, and when using it in either orientation, it's easy to use. Now, aside from the front cameras, we also have the back cameras, which are fine. I just hope I'll never need to use these to not be that awkward person taking photos or videos with a tablet. Now, next up, I wanted to talk about the controversial 45-watt charger. Now, in my previous video about the S22 Ultra, I was mentioning how there's a lot of controversy around this charger because in the phone, it doesn't really charge all that faster than the 22-watt charger. Sorry, 25-watt charger. And well, for the phone, that is the case. However, with the tablet, as you can imagine, as it has more than twice the battery of the phone, it is really helpful to make the charge much quicker and less of a hassle to charge the tablet. I highly appreciate this device. It'll charge the tablet in about an hour or so from zero, which is just extremely good. And yeah, this has been really useful to charge the tablet. Now, the next accessory I wanted to cover, pun intended, was the book cover keyboard. Now, the stand part of the keyboard, which this cover does come in two pieces, this one magnetically attaches to the back of the tablet, is probably one of my favorite parts that I've bought for it, as this is just great as it has the cover for the S Pen, which you can simply move out of the way. And the stand is very good as well, very rigid, and it keeps your device in place. This part is amazing. However, the keyboard, now don't get me wrong, this is a really nice keyboard. It has a great size for my large hands. But the issue is that the price. This cover is priced at $350, which makes it extremely expensive. I do not personally recommend buying this keyboard at that price. I would recommend wait for a sale, or if it comes in a bundle, it's worth it. However, just straight up $350 is painful for this keyboard, and you can get Bluetooth keyboard, a good Bluetooth mouse, and a stand for the tablet or a cover for that price or even cheaper. And you can get better peripherals than this trackpad and the keyboard at that price. However, what I do want to say is that as this was included in my pre-order, this was an excellent value as I didn't pay anything extra for it. It's a great keyboard, acceptable trackpad, and it attaches magnetically to the tablet and it works very well. And last but not least, for the covers, I bought the normal book cover. And I've been using this one a lot at home. Now, one thing to notice is that it does not have the flap for the S Pen, which is a little bit disappointing, but it is okay, as it does have a little place to store it in here. And while it works fine, it's not the best option. It would have been better to have the flap up here, but that's fine. And so this one's, like I said, is great to have to use at home. It has two magnetic stoppers for the tablet. And then if you drag it more behind, it'll still stay there. The magnets here are more just stop it in case it's sliding off. And these two covers are great. This one's worth $100, a little bit pricey, but I personally do enjoy Samsung's quality, so I was willing to shell that out. Last but not least, I wanted to talk about one interesting extra that comes with the tablet, which is Samsung DeX. So as I was saying, that this tablet might end up replacing my laptop. What's great about DeX is that it gives you an interface that mimics a Windows laptop. So you can have several windows open, and you can use different shortcuts on the keyboard cover or on a Bluetooth keyboard, similar to Windows, which will help you being productive. And yeah, it can replace a laptop easily with great battery life, great speakers, and the interface to help with that. So I believe this will end up replacing my laptop. Will it replace yours? Let me know in the comments. Now, next up, I wanted to talk about the price. So, this one's a little bit different, as it starts at 8 gigabytes of RAM and 128 gigs of storage, which would be $900. Now, that is the entry model, and that's the model I have here currently. And I recommend getting the entry model, as 8 gigabytes of RAM is more than enough for most uses currently. Now, and then afterwards, we have the 12 gigabyte of RAM with 256 gigs of storage, and that one is for an extra $100. I can recommend this version as well, as it's a pretty good price to performance upgrade. However, you won't notice it instantly, but perhaps in the long term, and if you need to edit videos or etc., have a lot of files on your tablet, this is a great solid option. And then last but not least, we have the 16 gigabytes of RAM version with 512 gigabytes of storage, which is worth $1,200. Solid option, honestly. If you need it, you can go for it. But I do recommend the entry level, as it is more than enough for most people. Now, I almost forgot to mention that all the Tab S8 versions have an SD card slot here on the right. You can see it right there. And you can expand it up to 1 terabyte of an SD card of storage, which is another reason I recommend the 8 gigabyte version, as you can just have 1 terabyte of storage additionally, thanks to that SD card slot. And for most uses, that will be more than enough. Now, you know who you are. If you need more than that, you have the other two options and you can choose them. Now, next up, I just want to talk a little bit about the GOS, or Game Optimization Service, as it is now able to be deactivated using the game launcher in labs, and there you have the option to turn it off. However, well, it was a negative as soon as it was discovered. It did affect this tablet as well. And as it's already been solved, I honestly have not much of a reason to complain about it. But in summary, Samsung was limiting the performance of the processor, which is the Snapdragon 8 Gen 1, and in certain apps, in most apps actually, except on benchmarking apps, which was the issue, as they would let the chip get hot and do its best for the metrics, for the numbers. However, in normal usage, you wouldn't get the whole chip of performance, which was not right from Samsung, but it's been solved now, so there's not much to talk about. Now, to wrap this video up, I want to be honest, I was considering buying the iPad Pro 12.9 inch, as it has a similar spec sheet and the Magic Keyboard feels great. However, I ended up siding with the Galaxy Tab S8 Ultra mostly because of the aspect ratio, as a 16:10 is way better to watch content on. And the Super AMOLED screen I really enjoy, as well as Samsung saturation. I think it adds to the viewing experience. So I ended up siding for this tablet for that part, which is my main use for a tablet, watching content. Now, luckily, as the keyboard came included with this tablet as well, as I pre-ordered, it was great value, and I'm not missing out on the Magic Keyboard, as I have a great keyboard with it. Now, like I mentioned previously in the video, this tablet will be replacing my laptop for most of my work duties and simple productivity. Now, I recommend this tablet to anyone that's trying to move from a laptop to a tablet, as it has a great display, has good options for keyboards and other accessories, and, well, in general, it is able to do everything using DeX. It makes it comfier to do all those things, and it is just a great tablet all around. Now, thank you very much for watching. Links in the description if you want to buy them through there, and thank you very much.